thank you, Lindy, for giving me a moment of your time. And welcome to PNT TV's behind the scenes blog, Sinful As.
Thank you for having me.
Let's jump right in. I just want to start by letting you give our viewers a bit of your background and about yourself and your company, First Sight Productions.
Sure. So First Sight Productions, I started with Chris, my husband, many years ago now. I think we started, we started dating in 2001 and it's been going ever since. So for, 15 years, we've been making movies, and we've made 3 feature films and a number of shorts. And we've done that as writer-directors. We've also done it as producers, editors, various things. So we've been in the film industry for some time now.
Well, I know Brides to Be is a follow-up to your crazy successful short Together Forever.
Yes.
I loved it. By the way, you know how much I love that film. And we know it begins at the end of Together Forever, like basically the wedding bell time. My question is, what did you all always have that vision for the film, or was that just the way it went in terms of making it into a thriller?
Yeah, well, we had made Together Forever, which, funny backstory, that proposal story is kind of inspired by Chris and I's actual proposal story. I had actually stumbled upon the ring before he was able to give it to me. And of course, it was not nearly as romantic what I did when I found it as we did in the film. But that's kind of where that came from. And we were trying to get another project off the ground, and it wasn't happening. And so and Together Forever kind of was in the midst of taking off. We made that short. Marriage equality had passed in Seattle or in Washington, but it hadn't passed federally yet. And so then right after we released Together Forever, it passed federally. So it kind of hit the zeitgeist, which is part of why I think it's so popular. And so when this other project that we were trying to do didn't happen, we kind of were like, okay, what can we do, that's like the other films we've done in the past, that's kind of smaller cast, smaller in scope, we could do with our small crew here in Seattle. And Together Forever, since it had become so popular, we thought, well, why don't we continue their story? And we were kind of interested at that moment exploring the horror thriller genre because of its wonderful being used as an allegory. And we really wanted to do something that talked about love conquering all. And to do that kind of story, it felt really right to have it be a thriller, because then you could have this paranormal entity representing hate and fear, that you kind of need to conquer, which I felt like spoke to what a lot of what it feels like to be a woman, in that ever-present, thing that we always feel, that the hatred and the being fearful and kind of feeling like you're always being watched or targeted, or, and I also just thought it felt like such a great allegory for kind of the almost ridiculousness of the against, marriage equality and love is love. It just felt like it was the perfect kind of villain to have without it being a person. So so it kind of just came from all of that, and we were able to, shoot it mainly in one location, 4 characters, small footprint, really maximize the small amount of dollars we had to get it made.
Well, the thing about it is that for people, for the very few people who haven't seen it either on YouTube or, for that matter of fact, on PNT TV, because you graciously allowed me to showcase it on one of our blogs. You gave us basically the heart of Brides to Be, but can you tell us, like, in terms of the synopsis, because you mentioned there are 4 characters. We know the 2 main characters Jenna and oh my God, forgive me,
Robin.
Robin. All right. How could I forget Robin? And the whole thing about it is that, I mean, she has this great fear. We see her having this anxiety attacks, and you know, we think it's just, you know, oh my God, I'm getting married and I'm getting cold feet. But it turns out into this, you know, twister. And it's such a great departure from, you know, the romantic, lovey-dovey feeling of Together Forever. And you explained just now. But could you give us in like a, you know, very short synopsis of what it is?
Sure. So, you know, basically, Robin, as we see from Together Forever, you know, it feels like as though she knows that there's no doubt that this is going to happen, and that Jenna is the love of her life. And Jenna, we wanted to tell a story that it's not necessarily that Jenna is questioning her love for Robin, because not at all. She's never questions it. It's that it's kind of what I feel like a lot of people feel. I know that I felt it before making the commitment to marry someone for the rest of my life, is that you wonder, am I good enough? Am I good enough for this other person? Can they do better? You know, will I lose who I am as an individual by becoming, you know, Robin and Jenna? Like, will I lose who Jenna is? Yeah. So it's kind of taking all that, and, you know, Jenna's, yes, she does have anxiety issues. And so what the haunted house is doing is amplifying those doubts, those fears, and trying to tear them apart. So Jenna has to learn to believe in love to get through this obstacle.
So no matter what it is, at the heart of it is still a love story. And you see that because, you know, usually for horror films or even thrillers, you don't really root for the couple because, you know, one of them is going to die. But to keep rooting throughout, no matter what twists or turns or what it is that we discover or we hear or what, you know, is thrown at us in the film, we still root for them to make it out in the end, and not only to make it out, but to make it out together.
Yes.
Did you all ever have any scenario of ending it differently, or was it always going to be that ending?
No. It was very important to me that we do not, you know, I hate to spoil it, but it's something so important to me is I can't be another film where one of the women dies, like, period. Like, I can't make that. I can't be a part of that trope. It angers me when it happens. And so I could not, I had to make a movie that I hate that it's so cheesy that to say love conquers all. Like, I hate that is a cheesy thing, that we need it now more than ever. And we need to remember that it is the only thing that will conquer hate and fear. And so I needed that message to be loud and clear.
Well, your leads have amazing chemistry. The short showed it, the film enhanced it. I mean, you've gotten almost 3 million views on the short. It's one of our most viewed short films ever on YouTube. Did you always plan on keeping those two together as the characters, as the leads?
Yeah, Angela and Carolani are really good friends. They have been friends for years, and they are. I mean, we've known them for quite some time in Seattle. We're lucky to have them as actors here in Seattle. And yeah, they have really great chemistry because they do love one another. They have a really deep friendship. Both of them are married to other people, and both of their spouses are very supportive of Robin and Jenna. But I think when I cast them in the short and we saw how much they just truly, how that friendship comes through and made Robin and Jenna so believable, there was no doubt that we had to have them continue that in Brides to Be.
Well, we know that, let's depart from it for a second. We know that making films is, especially feature films, is a very expensive venture.
Yeah.
You've managed to release all of your films online. Besides, if everybody's saying, "How? What's your secret?" Did you ever stop to say, "Okay, we're gonna do the whole circuit of festivals. We're gonna put it what a lot of people are doing, filmmakers are doing now, especially new filmmakers, using all the online platforms out there for VOD opportunities and stuff like that." Did you ever stop to think that we're not going to release this film online for everyone?
Of course, yes, filmmaking is expensive, and it cost us $65,000 of our own money to make Brides to Be. That is not including all of the volunteer, all of the labor that our team gave us for a reduced cost. I mean, that's everybody doing this for the love of the project and not doing it to become rich, for sure. Absolutely, it's one of the hardest things being an independent filmmaker is how to recoup those costs. And we did try, and figure out, like, are we going to be able to, make some money through iTunes? Because the film is on iTunes, it's on Amazon, it's on Seed and Spark, it's on Section 2. But when the election happened, Chris and I just felt really strongly that this film more than ever needs to be out there, and I can't let myself, think about the young queer women who are in the middle of this country or around the world and have them have a barrier to see this film. I can't let a paywall, a $2.99, a $3.99 rental make it so that they can't see it, because I feel it's too important for these stories to be out there so that they know they're not alone. So yes, while putting it out there in the way that we have necessarily doesn't mean that we're going to make any money. It's too important. And so I will try to find a way to make money some other way. Cause we have other day jobs, and various things. And so we have not made money on our films yet, but we will find another way because it's too important.
Well, let me just scratch off that next question. Which was actually, how do you measure the success of any of the films, but especially of Brides to Be, and does that even matter to you? But so you answer that.
I just want people to see it. So what success to me means that it reaches the audience that she needs to reach.
Right. As a filmmaker, you've mentioned before the many projects that you'll have done, and including a lot of them being shorts and features that was under the umbrella of the LGBTQIA, and yet most of what you're really known for comes under the umbrella. Does that? But you think about that, and does it bother you at all?
Chris and I have always made films that have focused on women. So throughout our career, all of our films, if you go back, are focused on female characters. Or actually, I'd say that outside of gender, because I feel like it focuses on the feminine. Even when we have our male characters, I feel like we're always approaching them from the feminine side, and what all that means and all that encompasses. So, for us, when we went with practical things, I've always wanted to explore this side of my identity more, being a bisexual woman. So, and I am lucky that I have an incredibly supportive partner. So when I wanted to explore that more with practical things, which was our first short in the LGBTQIA umbrella, he was fully supportive, and once we saw how much of a need there was for more of these stories to be told, and I think in the way that we were trying to tell them, we just couldn't stop. So it's kind of, it's such a rewarding, and I love being able to express that side of myself. And there just is more and more opportunities coming up for me to be able to do that, which is great. So I just got asked and hired to write a commercial that featured a lesbian couple that will be hopefully airing soon. I am producing a TV pilot that will be hopefully released later this year. That is a new series that features a lesbian couple at the front and center of it. It's a sci-fi fantasy series, a world where magic exists. So it's great that I'm getting to work more and more in this space because I feel strongly that more and more of these stories need to be told.
True. I couldn't have said anything. But so again, I'm scratching through another question because this one actually was one of our members, viewers, followers, and they asked, and I decide whatever they send, I decide to ask, even if it's the most you could imagine. Your films speak for themselves, but have you ever been asked why you make queer-centric films as a married heterosexual couple? Now, I knew differently, but, many people don't. And, I wanted to answer the person, but I said, I'll let you address it yourself.
Of course, we get that. We actually, because Chris spells his name with a K, we get sometimes where people assume that Chris is a female name. So absolutely, it definitely, or we get the inquisitive look, wondering if Chris is maybe a female to male transition, transgender man. But he's a pretty burly bear of a guy. So that definitely gets handled pretty quickly. But of course, we get that question, but we are happy to answer it because it's just that, like I said, I'm part of the queer community, and Chris is a strong ally, and he loves telling stories about women and wants to be supportive of that and use his privilege to be as much as he can to be a platform for those stories. And really, for us, it just fits our voice as filmmakers to tell them. And so as long as people continue to resonate with them, we'll continue to tell those stories.
Lovely. I think you keep answering all my questions because I was about to ask you two things. One was, would you all direct, write, and produce most of your projects? Mm-hmm. And would you ever step out of that and direct or even produce something written or directed by someone else? And you just mentioned the projects. I know that you have strollers coming up.
Yes. Yes.
And I have been looking all over for Ashland, and
Ashland is the project that we had to put aside to make Brides. And that's how we made Brides. I know. I want to make Ashland very, very bad.
Oh my God, the premise on that is just, and it's very close and dear to my heart because, I mean, I don't know if you're aware. I think you should be aware that I'm also a filmmaker of sorts. I write, and my partner is a filmmaker. And the one part of the genre that hasn't been explored besides thrillers and horrors, and not just for the male gaze or the male view, perspective. We haven't really, before Brides to Be, I don't think we've really had a horror thriller of the queer genre as yet, which is wonderful. But there's only been, if I remember, and I have a long memory and a big catalog, there's only been one action genre, one film, Bound, made by Wachowski's many moons ago, that was action. And I, in God knocks on wood, in a year and a half, I'm about to start with my own, and which is an action.
Yeah.
And I thought that you know, reading the premise for Ashland, I was like, yes. So, you know, that's just along my lines, because I don't know why filmmakers in general, queer filmmakers or filmmakers in general, shy away from it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it shouldn't be a stereotypical thing, you know, that you usually have, you know, gun-toting, man breathing, because you can do action many, many, many different ways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So when will you all be doing Ashland anytime soon?
Well, you know, yeah, for us, we wanted to with Ashland, and if people are curious, they can go to welcometoashland.com, which has a synopsis and a little trailer and that sort of thing. We're actually turning
everything down below.
Okay, we're turning it actually into an anthology series, so it'll be an 8-episode series. And it's gonna, you know, I want to make it as soon as possible, but it's gonna need to take some time to find the funding that we need to make it happen. So unless there's someone out there listening to this who has lots of money that wants to throw our way, yeah, I want to do it because I want the action genre to not be just women acting like men do in action films. I want it to be an action genre about women being women. So, and what that all means. And especially in this now more than ever, the ambiguity of justice is such a topic we need to explore, and we need to figure out how we're all going to survive and come out with good overcoming evil. So yeah, absolutely. I want to make it.
Oh, but in terms of any other shorts or features that you have coming in the pipeline, at least for 2017 and even further and beyond, other than the ones mentioned before, you have anything, you know, in the drawing board?
Yeah, I'm actually going to start kind of a little project that I'm going to do in between things is we're going to start releasing some shorts on our YouTube channel that are kind of love themed. So I'm going to be taking stories and poems and audio clips, basically, of people talking about things that they love. So it could be anything. It could be people. It could be things. It could be food. It could be a wide range of things. I'm going to take that audio and then I'm going to do some visual poems with them. So I'm kind of doing that as just one, to save my own sanity and my own soul, keep me creating, you know, and keep us creating and putting love into the world. So keep watching our YouTube channel because we'll be releasing those every so often.
Oh, well, that's great. That's great. That's great. That's it. I have thank you so much for sitting down with me, and I can't tell you how, you know, appreciative. And myself, I can just speak for my viewers because they've all, you know, listened to me when I told them to go watch your films.
Well, thank you so much.
And the thing about it is that I have a little surprise for you. I went on our statistics and I checked how much views you both together forever. And let me just find the link. Wait. And Practical Things had. And combined, they have 54,622 views from my website.
That's awesome.
So that's like, yes.
Yes. Thank you so much.
No problem. It has been an absolute pleasure, Lindy.
Oh, well, thank you. And I hope your channel just has so many more things happening because hopefully we just continue putting these stories out there.
Of course, we have Diana coming up in April, so that's our next big thing. And of course, we can continue to, you know, look at and find shorts and talk to filmmakers on our side.
Great.
All right. Have a very, very good night.
You too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.